I got an email recently about a guy asking for the 5 things you must know when you're gonna start to trade. Because the truth is, you could pick a book about trading, but you're just gonna find a lot of things. It's gonna be complex. It's gonna be a big book, and learning everything at once is just gonna make it really tough. It's gonna make it really difficult for you to know exactly what to focus on. So I want to share the 5 things here that probably you won't find in the books, and that you should really know when you start to trade. Okay, things you should really have in place, and we'll cover those right now. I have this on a paper here, but I'll share those with you guys. And the first, those are things that I wish I knew at the beginning. Okay, if I would have known this at first, I would have been much better in trading. I would have done much better, I think. So the first one is, from now on, if you're gonna start to trade, okay, I don't care if you're new, if you're experienced, how long you've been doing it, you need to track every single trade you take. That's it. Every single trade you take, every single time you press the button buy or sell, you need to track it. You need to have this in place. Okay, that's the first thing. Because when you do this, you get to realize really what trades you take. And if you take a trade and it's a bad one or a good one, whatever, you have the experience, and you're gonna be able to look back at it. And if you make a stupid trade, you're gonna have it on paper. You're gonna have it in place. So then you can go back and try to look at those trades. Try to look at how you perform, what you did what you did well, what you did not well. So that's the first thing. And by the way, if you guys have any question in the meantime at any point, let me know. Comment below, and I'll answer your question for sure. But the first thing, track every single trade you take from now on. Okay, there's no exception. There's no, well, this is not a good trade. I'm not gonna track it. I'll forget it. No, you need to track every trade you take from now on. Second thing is about, you need to understand that trading is a game of probability. Okay, it's a game of number and probability. So you need to be able from now on to think about probability. You're not gonna win every time. You're not gonna have profit every time. You're not gonna have only winning weeks. You might have losing weeks, and that's fine. But it's a game of probability. So if you lose 7 trades in a row, it's fine. It's just probability. You do not know what trade you're gonna win. You just know that over time you might have a certain win rate, but you cannot think and you cannot act based on the trade you won or lost. Okay, so you need to be comfortable with this. And most of the book that you're gonna watch are not gonna tell you about probability or anything. They're just gonna tell you about, this is trading, you should win with this strategy. But people who get to trade with this, they feel that they have to win. They are gonna win because they read the book, they apply the right thing from the book, and then they don't win sometimes. So they feel disappointed, they feel bad. But you need to understand that probabilities are there. And you cannot base your decision on winning trades or losing trade. You base your decision on what's your plan. And you understand that you might not win now. You might not win the next trade. You might not even win the next 5 trades. But that's fine. We focus on the process. And I'll just see there's a question here. This is, by the way, guys, the second key. Trading is a game of probability. Second key. How do you feel about the leverage change in Europe? What do you use for leverage and brokerage? I don't know that much about the leverage in Europe. I'm in Canada now, so it's kind of different. But I know Europe used to have a big leverage, like 400 or 500 for one, which is crazy. But I don't think you need that much leverage. Because think about it. If you're gonna win, if you're gonna risk only 1% per trade, okay, this is what I do, like 1 to 2% per trade. I don't even care to have like 20 to 1 or 100 to 1. Like it doesn't make any difference. Because I'm not going to use it all. And I'm not taking like 20 trades at the same time. So I might take 1 or 2 trades, which is fine. Like I won't go with too many trades. So if you're going to take trades responsibly, take only a few trades, then you don't need to have that much leverage. Usually like 10 to 1, 20 to 1 is enough. It's really fine. But if you want to go higher, then totally fine. But it's not making a big difference. If you trade responsibly, leverage should not be even a question. It should be something that you have. It's possible. Yeah, okay. You have it, well, good. But you don't need to focus on this, right? So that's one thing. Let's go. So we talked about the 5 keys to successful trading, right? 5 things you need to know when you're going to start to trade. 5 things that they don't teach you in any book. I don't think so. I've never seen a book with that. So first one, we said, from now on you need to track every single trade. Second thing, we said, Trading is a game of probability. Now, third thing is you need to understand the types of trade. Okay, what types of trade can you take? And it's really simple. When you put everything aside, when you put indicators aside, when you put candlestick aside, when you put like charts aside, well, not charts, but when you put everything aside, okay, there's only one thing that is getting important. It's what type of trade can you take? Okay, there's only three types. Reversals, pullbacks, same as retracement, and breakouts. Okay, that's it. So the first thing you need to figure out is what type of trade are you going to take? Are you going to take breakouts? Are you going to take reversals? Are you going to take pullbacks? Or maybe you're going to take two of them or three of them. But you need to figure out which one you're going to take. And then it's only a matter of confirming those trades. How can you be able to identify that a breakout is going to work? Is there a way? Yes, there's a way. How can you be able to identify that a reversal trade is going to work? Maybe you're going to use an indicator. Maybe you're going to use something else. But this is how you need to think. You need to be able to trade those types of trade and be able to confirm them. But everything that you bring on this, like with it, all indicators, all like everything, it's all based on this. It's all based on the type of trade you take first. So if you can just figure this out and focus on one and try to look at how price is doing when that happens. How do you identify the trade? Then it becomes much simpler to trade. You don't have to have indicators. You don't even need to look at price action. Just know the type of trade you're going to take, and then you add criteria based on how you want to confirm it. So that's really a crucial key. And oftentimes in the books, they're going to tell you about, well, use this indicators with this thing and look at this. But they don't even look at the type of trade, which is like the first simplest thing in trading. What type of trade do you take? And so if you can only focus on that and identify it, it's much better. And then, as I said, you look for criteria, things to add to your trading, to your type of trade, to confirm the trade, to make the trade more reliable. And that's everything there is to trading. Right? That's it. Simple as that. So that's the third key. Fourth thing you need to know. I'm just gonna take a look at the question here. I have one. Cool. Nice. So fourth thing you need to know is testing builds confidence. And that's really powerful. Testing builds confidence. Okay, the number one reason why people feel, and I felt that way, like I felt that way for a long time. But the number one reason why people feel stressed or not confident when they trade is because they didn't test. They didn't do any testing before. So testing is the only way to build confidence. You cannot be confident in your trading if you never tested anything. If you just take a strategy from a book or from a website and try to apply it, you cannot be confident. The only way to get confident is to see result. So either you're gonna take something from scratch, from a book or a website, you're gonna try it, and you're gonna see, well, okay, you make money, good, you feel more confident. If you lose money, you feel really bad, you don't feel confident. But the only way to feel confident, to feel good about your trading, is to get result, or to test it, back test it. And this is the only way you're gonna feel better. But if you trade now and you're stressed and you feel not confident, you're always stressed in the trade. Well, I don't know if I should close it here or not, or exit now or later, or move the stop loss or whatever. Well, it's because you didn't test it. It's because you didn't look at the chart enough. The more you look at charts, the better you feel. And that's just a rule. Testing builds confidence. So that's the fourth thing. So guys, let me know if you have any question. I'll just check quick on YouTube. A couple of people watching. That's good. No questions so far, so I'm fine with this. Next, fifth thing you need to know. The more you automate your trade, the more you automate your trading, the easier it gets. The more you automate things, the easier it gets. And by automating, I don't need to have a system or an algorithm to trade for you. It's not really that. But the more you automate things, the more you make this like habits, the easier it gets, because then you're used to put those things. And I talked with a guy who had trouble putting a stop loss in the beginning. He had trouble like just placing stop loss on his trade. And to me, that's a habit now. I don't even think about it. Why? Because it's automated. It's like a rule. Whenever I place a trade, stop loss comes with it. That's it. There's no way I'm going to enter a trade without a stop loss. But when you don't have the habit, it's tougher, right? Because you don't think about it. You forget it. But the only way to reach the point where you have this as a habit is to do it. Do it a few times. So put your stop loss every time, or create those like reminders everywhere on your screen. I used to have that, and I talked about that somewhere. But when you can put a just a reminder on your screen or whatever of what you need to do, then you don't forget it. And when you do it like a few times for like, I don't know, 10 days, 20 days, it becomes a habit. And then it's automated. You don't even have to think about it. You just do it. And you can do this for like many, many things. Whether it's setting your take profit, setting your stop loss. Like you could say, my take profit goes to 2 to 1 of reward to risk. That's it. That's a rule. That's automated now. So every time you put a trade, well, this is your rule. This is what happens. So the more you make this automated, the less you have to think, and the easier it gets. So sometimes people don't have these rules or habits. They just go with the flow, and they think that this is the best way to do. But the more you make things habit, and the more there are kind of rules set in the stone that you don't modify, the easier it gets, because then you don't have it to think at all. It's just more simple that way. So that's the fifth key. The more you automate, the easier it gets. So guys, we talked about the 5 keys now, 5 things you need to know, things that most people don't learn never, and things that are not in books either. So if you guys have any question, I'll just repeat those. If you have any question, let me know. I see Connections Week on here. I hope the video is still good, but if not, you'll have it as a podcast next week. As always, I'm turning those Q&As into podcasts, so you don't have to, if you don't want to watch them, you want to listen to them, totally fine. I'll just remove the bad stuff and put only the good stuff in a podcast, so you have the way to listen to it that way. So I'll just recap those 5 keys, 5 things you need to know. First of all, track every single trade from now on. Okay, there's no exception. You need to track everything from now on. The bad trades, the winning trade, the trade you've made by mistake, everything, you track it. Second thing, trading is a game of probability. You need to adapt the probability mindset, where you could lose the next 5 trades, next 10 trades, and it doesn't matter. It's only probabilities in the end. Then understand the types of trade, and that's the first key. You need to know what type of trade you take. Is it a pullback, a reversal, a breakout trade? You need to know this before. Then testing builds confidence. When you test, you become more confident. You cannot gain confidence in another way than trading or testing. That's the only way. And building confidence while trading is not the right way. It's a really tough way. So testing is much better. Testing is much less costly and much more interesting, because you don't have to stress. And last one, the more you automate, the easier it gets. The more you create habits when you trade, the easier it's going to be to trade, and the less decision you have to make. And the more you're going to feel good at the end of the day. You're not going to feel bad or kind of tired because you had to make so many decisions, because everything is automated. Everything is set in stone. So you don't have to think. So guys, let me know if you have any question. If not, I'll conclude here. But I didn't want to do this Q&A now. Usually we do it on Fridays. Every Fridays we have the Q&A. But it took some time this week to... Wonderful. So yeah, it took some time this week to do the Q&A. And so I'll leave you guys here, because the thing just crashed on YouTube. And I'll turn this in a podcast and see you next week. Ciao, guys.